Last week, Oprah Winfrey posted a video that addresses the growing phenomenon of going no contact. It opens with clips from TikTok in which young people explain why they've severed ties with family members. An increasing number of people today are replacing damaged family relationships with online connection. More than 2 million TikTok users are offering each other comfort and support in limiting or cutting family contact entirely. The screen cuts back to Oprah and her live audience, who share their stories of estrangement, asking questions to a panel of family therapists. She frames their discussion with a staggering statistic. Nearly 1/3 of Americans are actively estranged from a family member. Many of us in this very room are in that painful position. The video testimonies are raw and heartbreaking. One parent who went no contact with her adult son asks why parents who set boundaries are demonized even when their child is abusive, while children who do so are celebrated. A young couple estranged from their siblings and parents wonders how to raise their children without aunts, uncles, or grandparents. A woman shares that she changed every aspect about herself to fit her mother's ideal, only to be met with rejection. Today, generational and emotional disconnects leave people doubtful that there's room for any repair. Parents, on the one hand, tend to struggle with living up to changing and increasing expectations of the role. The demands on parents to house, clothe, feed, educate, and therapize their children who are versed in the vocabulary of mental health today have left many parents overwhelmed and many children misunderstood. Siblings, on the other hand, can struggle with betrayal, differences in personality, and dysfunctional family systems. At times, no contact can feel like the only response. Still, many of the guests on Oprah's show express grief over this choice. Estrangement was the result of a million cuts that bled them dry. The story of Jacob and Esau powerfully depicts the effects of estrangement. In this week's Parsha, Vayishlach, the brothers finally reconcile after decades apart. Only by understanding this moment in the context of their fraught beginnings can we appreciate what their reunion demands of them and what it can teach us. After Rebekah instructs her favorite son, Jacob, to deceive his blind father and steal his brother Esau's blessing, she urges him to flee until his brother's fury subsides. Rebekah imagines a temporary separation, just long enough to prevent violence. But this cooling off period lasts 20 years. And given Jacob's 180-year lifespan, that's about going 10 years of no contact for us today. In this period of estrangement, Jacob spends years laboring for his father-in-law, Lavan. Eventually, Jacob flees with his wives and children, fearful that the controlling Lavan will not let them leave. Furious, Lavan tracks them down, but instead of resorting to violence, he initiates a hard and honest conversation, and the men part in peace. I imagine Jacob had a profound realization. While fleeing imminent danger may be necessary, avoiding difficult conversations can further damage relationships. And so, after 20 years, Jacob sends messengers to Esau's camp in the hopes of making amends. And in all these years, Esau has grown too. He amassed a tribe, land, an army, and he made a name for himself. Here, the Torah recognizes that changing unhealthy patterns can require space rather than unsafe togetherness. When Esau finally beholds Jacob for the first time in 20 years, he could have seen the face of the traitor who stole his blessing. Instead, he simply sees his brother Jacob, aged by years of struggle. We read, Jacob bowed low 7 times until he was near his brother. Esau ran to greet him. He embraced him, fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. What makes the brothers' reunion powerful is not that it creates the perfect relationship between them or that they erase the past, but that each does something human and brave. Jacob steps forward with humility, and Esau meets him with compassion. Reconciliation like this requires the recognition that sometimes we need to heal apart to come back together. That enough humility to acknowledge when we've done wrong can go a long way. We need the passion to forgive, even if we cannot forget, and the courage and imagination to forge a new kind of relationship. Experts agree that in non-abusive relationships, going no contact should be a last resort and should rarely be permanent. A recent study found that those who tried to restore the relationship regarded the healing of their family rift as the most important life experience they had ever had. According to the study, even when they couldn't become as close as they wanted to be with their families, they felt that having back any connection at all was worth their efforts. Many people experiencing estrangement would give anything for a reunion like this. But I want to name something delicate here. For some of us, reconciliation is not possible right now, and it may never be. Sometimes the safest, holiest decision that we can make is to set a healthy boundary with the person who's harmed us. The Torah models that for us too, in an often overlooked detail of this family's story. To our knowledge, after Jacob leaves home, he and his mother never speak again. Rebekah's well-intentioned intervention was a major overstep as she pressured her son to do something he could never take back, while the young Jacob lacked any skills to confront her. And the consequence seems to have been permanent estrangement. Rebekah and Jacob show us that sometimes you really might not be able to be in relationship with your family. But Jacob and Esau show us that even with personality differences, family trauma, and betrayal, reconciliation may still be within reach. For those of us in the room who have not experienced estrangement, these stories can give us compassion for those who have made this difficult choice, and perspective on how to show up for those whose grief is ongoing and maybe invisible to us. And if you've made the difficult decision yourself to go no contact, or if you've been estranged by a family member whom you love, know that while the holiday season may be a sensitive time of year, you always have a place in this community. As we enter Shabbat, I pray that we take the time we need to heal and reevaluate once the storm has calmed. May we be blessed with humility and compassion and the strength to create healthy relationships. May this be a Shabbat of brave beginnings.